Hello, everyone. This is Grandmaster David Smerdon, your local Australian Grandmaster, coming to you from Amsterdam in the Netherlands for tonight's Banter Blitz. If you want to be a part of it, you've got to get into channel 3. Leon's just written the instructions for you there. You've got to type match Smurfo 3 space 2 space U space W0. If that sounds a bit weird when I'm reading it out to you, just get into channel 3. Leon's written it there. And get yourself in the queue for tonight. Already a lot of people jumped in the queue. That's out of my control. I just basically sit here, get people playing against me, and try not to get beaten up too badly. So we'll see how we go tonight. Probably play around about 15 games. Maybe we'll sneak in a few more. Who knows? But if you beat me, as per usual, that's a free month of ICC membership, courtesy of my bosses, the ICC staff. So I'm going to try my best for that not to happen, but the good news is that on average per night, well, the good news for you guys, on average per night, I usually lose about one game. The last time I think we had 2 draws and a loss. I can't remember who it was, but someone snuck in a free month's membership. Okay, so we're just waiting for everything to get set up. There's still a chance for you to get into the queue, like I said. So in channel 3, the instructions are there. I can see a couple of the good old regulars already trying to G each other up in the channel. I think Tired Dad's in the queue, Fork and Pin in the queue. These guys have been. We've had a few contests between us in the past, and our first game tonight is against someone who I've also played before, I believe, Gorgorov from Estonia. Or at least that's what the flag's telling me. So away we go. Now we're starting off with it was looking like it was going to be some sort of Czech Benoni. We've now gone into something weird that I'm not entirely sure what it is again. You can see that I look a little bit different to the profile pic they've got up for me there. I've got a bit of a beard going, but as we approach summer, hopefully that's going to disappear. We've got something pretty much symmetric position here. Fork and Pin saying that Gorgorov sounds like some sort of mythical monster. That could well be true. That's a little bit scary. I'm really up against it. All right, so this sort of symmetry is kind of annoying me a bit, so I'm going to try and mix it up. My last move there, 7, E takes D5, just with the intention of changing the symmetry of the position. Knight takes D5, I think, would have been enough for comfortable equality, but would be just a little bit boring. So with E takes D5, I've taken on an isolated queen's pawn. The old IQP used to be considered a weakness ever since Aaron Nimzovich said, put a knight in front of your pawn, and I'm not so sure about that move. Let me just pause a second as I consider my options. Yeah, he said put a knight in front of the pawn, which is what Gorgorov's got with the knight on d4. Blockade him and then work on him afterwards. But these days, it's really not considered to be that much of a big deal anymore. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. And particularly if the person playing against the isolated queen pawn, in this case Gorgorov, hasn't had the chance to fianchetto his king's bishop, so that would be putting a bishop on g2, it's not considered such a big advantage anymore. Actually, we've transposed, would you believe it or not, into a reversed Panov Botvinnik, which is a system against the Karakan that White often plays. We've got it with reversed colors. I'm a move behind, obviously being black, but now that I've taken on c6 with my b pawn, attacking his bishop, which he's going to have to move away, I've actually sort of gained back a move. So, if you will, we're kind of pretty much back on track, I would say. So it's pretty much basically just a reversed. He almost allowed me the Greek gift, that being the old bishop takes h2 check. Doesn't quite work here, so I'm going to hope to see whether I can sneak it in on the next move. But yes, we've transposed now back into a reversed Panov Botvinnik and the Karakan. Change in the pawn structure after Gorgorov took on c6. Oh, he's almost giving me this chance to play the move that I really want to play, bishop takes h2, but it's just not quite working yet, I believe. Oh, it's a shame. It's so close to being a spectacular move. I think I'm going to just play c5. I just couldn't make it work in my calculations. Of course, this famous idea of, well, usually for white, bishop takes h7, check, followed by knight g5, queen h5, checkmate, this famous Greek gift idea. I was trying desperately to make it work. Couldn't quite get it happening. I've got a very nice position here, though. I think I'm actually winning a piece now, so I don't have to worry about the big checkmate, which is obviously a little bit disappointing. I promise I'll try and sacrifice a queen at some point. But it looks like I'm just going to be able to run forward with my pawns here and pick up a piece. d3 fork will follow. Gorgor's position just getting overrun. I think his move 11, knight takes c6, wasn't the way to go. Not only did it correct my pawn structure there, but it also gave me these rolling pawns, like I said. And yeah, we can see they're running away now. So I've picked up a piece. Piece is not the end of the game, of course, but it's definitely a good start. I can almost, I really want to get this this bishop takes h2 sacrifice working. Just can't seem to make it work at the moment. It's a real shame. I'm going to play rook c5. Really quite a cheeky move, rook c5, brutally trying to bring my rook across to the h file, cause some damage there, and also on the other side of the board threatening bishop b5, which picks up the exchange. So Gorgorov stopped one of those threats by playing f4, but didn't stop the other. So bishop b5 now will pick up the exchange, and that's going to be close to game over, I think. Gorgorov just having a bit of a think, but I think this is it's pretty much the end of the game. Yeah, just giving myself a little bit too much time to roll forward with the pawns there, and now bishop takes f1. I don't think I've got anything better than that. He's gone for e5, but that's going to... what's the best way to play this? I think the best way is actually to play queen g6, threatening queen takes g2 mate. I expect that he will follow with king takes f1, and now rook c2. He'll probably play bishop d2, and then I'll play bishop c5. Oh, he hasn't. He has played. Okay, and now bishop c5, and I think it's just about over. I think I can calculate about mate in 4 from here. If queen f3, queen a6 check will give... Okay, so now it's going to be mate in a little less than. It's going to be mate in 3, and now mate in 1. Well, I would say that is a reasonably comfortable start for me. Gorgorov just making a critical error there in the opening, move 11. Now it takes c6, giving me these pawns. By my standards, that's a good start, because usually I don't start particularly well. So that's good news for me, bad news for you guys if you're trying to pick up the month. Prepare, you are on the air. Well, not on the air, but you are live on the game board. My Indian friend, my housemate's Indian, and he prepared the most delicious Southern Indian dinner for us tonight. It was outstanding, just way too spicy for me, but absolutely delicious. Prepara has come to the party, which is good. I'm going to kick his time up again to 3 minutes. It's not really fair to take time off someone because they're not paying attention. We'll try something a bit different now. We're going to try to play the Queen's Gambit Accepted, which Leon telling everyone he's going to take the month's membership out of my paycheck. extra incentive for me than to put in a good performance. Um, yes, playing the playing the Queen's Gambit Accepted. Not an opening I know particularly well, but one that I've recently decided I should try to learn. It's sort of come back into fashion, the Queen's Gambit Accepted. It never used to be considered much of a serious try for black. Equalization at best used to be the call. But these days we can see a lot of people with black-letter grandmasters playing it for the win, happy to take easy equality and maybe push for more. Now here we've got a reverse case of what we had in the last game, in that preparer, he's got the isolated queen pawn. Now, usually when you've got the isolated pawn, the way to make the most of it is to keep pieces on the board and to try and attack. And you can see that's what I tried to do a bit in the last game. Preparer made a bit of a mistake here on move 5 by playing queen takes d4. Often we find that when you're playing against a stronger player, you'll try to simplify the position, go into an endgame as quickly as possible, which is essentially what Preparer tried to do by swapping off the queens. But that's generally the wrong approach to take, because the downside of doing so, particularly in this case, is it was just very easy for me to put a lot of pressure on the d4 pawn, which is what I did. And in fact, I managed to win the d4 pawn, and I'm not quite sure. I haven't counted the pawns. I may have picked up another one. No, it looks like I haven't picked up another one. So I've only picked up the one pawn. Wait, what happened? Resigns. Well, that is very strange. I have to agree with Fork and Pin, who says that it's a bit of an early resignation, because as far as I can tell, it was only a pawn. And in fact, after bishop b5 check, I would have had to play king d8. He could then have taken the rook on a8 and played a very, very quick knight c3, bishop f4, and castle queenside check, with a little bit of pressure on my king. So I'm a little bit surprised by the early resignation, but to be fair, the opening hadn't been a complete success. So thank you for that, Preparer. Thanks for the game. I appreciate it. Fork and Pin, always a favorite, Fork and Pin. Our man from the UK. I guess he's still coming down from the hangover of the recent UK election, which was quite something, I have to say, quite something. Now, I should pay attention, because Fork and Pin is not to be underestimated. In fact, he's had some good games against me, if I remember. Oh, dear, oh dear, I just played a stupid move. What was I thinking? Well, there we go. Not to be underestimated indeed, because I just completely forgot that in that position I should always take on d4 with the queen, because now, Fork and Pin had a good opportunity there to actually swap off by playing queen takes d1, and I wouldn't be able to play knight takes d1 because my e4 pawn was on pre. It would have been an excellent opportunity there. Instead, Fork and Pin not doing so, giving me a chance now. So that would have been quite awkward indeed. Instead, what's happened is that I've managed to steal a pawn. Fork and Pin's got the two bishops, which is definitely a plus, but I do have an extra pawn. Now, it's not a very good pawn. You can see I've got these ridiculous doubled C pawns, but a pawn is a pawn is a pawn, so I might have just got away with one there. It seems quite clear that white's better in this position, but it's not clear exactly how much better. My estimate would be not very much at all. Possibly, if you put this on a computer, I would say something like a 0.5 advantage. Something, but not worth the whole pawn. The real problem is that my C pawns are just so ridiculous. Although, with Fork and Pin's last move, he's sort of given me a little bit of a chance here, because in general, I'm going to be quite happy to swap off one of my doubled C pawns for the dangerous black A pawn. I have no idea why I didn't just play knight takes c7 check there, which just won another pawn. That was quite bizarre. I can't actually explain that. Um, so not we're going to have a very strange sequence that's probably about to happen here. Falkenpin's going to move his bishop. Oh no, he's not going to move his bishop. I take it back. I thought he was going to move his bishop. I think he should have moved his bishop, because by moving his bishop, he would have allowed me to give check on the back rank and then take the rook on h8. But afterwards, Falkenpin would have been able to give his own check on the back rank by playing rook b1 check and taking my rook on h1. Would have been weird. One rook taken on h8, one rook taken on h1. That would have been a very nice little sequence. But instead, in this final position, Falkenpin resigning at the right point, because after bishop takes e4, I just play rook e1, pin that bishop, and after f5, I play f3, and I take it. So, the right time to resign, but perhaps the move before Falkenpin, instead of rook b1 check on move 18, would have been interesting to see what would have happened after bishop c4. So far, so good. We're playing Dodgy. Now, Dodgy's given me some interesting battles, if I remember correctly, in the times that we've played. Our second competitor from the UK, again, we'd be interested to know who we're all voting for. It was an interesting election. I, being in the Netherlands, have decided today to play the Dutch. And I've played the Dutch Stonewall. Not considered the most exciting of openings, but I kind of resent that. In some sense, I think that it is quite an ambitious opening. Vladimir Kramnik, former world champion, once quite famously said that the Stonewall should be respected because it's one of the few openings in which black gets the space advantage straight out of the opening. And if you can see here, looking at the position, it's not much of a space advantage, but it is there. Black has got a slightly more space. The downside is that you're leaving a few weaknesses behind. You can see I've left a few holes, particularly the one on e5. But by putting my knight on d7, my bishop on d6, I'm trying to hold down the e5 square for the moment. And hopefully it won't be too much of a problem in the future. So at the moment, I would say so far so good. Nothing really to worry about. Oh, I would love to have a sacrifice here on g3. Oh, it's so tempting. It's very hard to believe that it's a good move, but I wonder. I get tempted by these things, and sometimes it sends me off, excuse me, off course a little bit. I think I'll try and restrain myself today. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened after knight takes g3, but seeing as I'm pretty much playing with the company's money, as it were, with these free memberships, I'll try just to be a little more restrained. Now, that is a pawn offer, I believe, and I'm feeling greedy, so I'm going to take it. Looks a bit weird, actually, to take that pawn on c4, but hey, I've done it, and someone's got to prove to me that it was the wrong decision, because as far as I'm concerned, a pawn is a pawn is a pawn. Now, f4. f4 is what I expect. It probably looks like the best move. Pawn is a pawn is a pawn. Dodgy. Really should go f4 here to try and make something of the position. d5. Wow, what a move. A little bit unexpected. I didn't see that one coming. I'm not entirely certain it was the best, but I guess we will soon find out. Now the question is, can I play just bishop c5 here and swap those queens off? I don't really see the need to, actually. I probably could, but okay, let's play bishop c5. Let's play bishop c5. I'm trying to play a little bit more maturely this time. King h1, queen d6. Was also a chance to sacrifice my queen there. Could have given that some thought. I expect knight f4 here. But after knight f4, I've got quite a good counter, I believe. Let's see what happens. It's so heartening to see Tired Dad and Fork and Pin jesting about the game afterwards. That was a nice game. I enjoyed that one. Now, yes, so knight f4 played. The queens are going to come off the board, and the real problem in this position for Dodgy is that it's very hard to get the g2 bishop active. That's the excuse me. That's the real problem here. So Dodgy doing the right thing, but the question remains how to get that bishop into the game. Now, I think I'm going to try knight a4. Obviously, at some point, I'm going to have to do something about my my pawn on e6, but for the moment, everything seems to be just under control. I think now is the time to strike, perhaps, with g5, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I was a bit hesitant to do that because I really don't want Dodgy to be able to play f4, but at least I can play bishop b7 myself. At the end of the day, I'm counting on the fact that White's queenside is incredibly weak, so hopefully I'm going to be able to make the most of that. Now, f4 is coming. Actually, I think I've walked into something there. I really didn't want f4 to come, and it looks like now I can't really defend against it. So knight h3 was an excellent move. Excellent move. Now I've really made my life a lot more difficult than it needed to be. What am I going to do about this? Probably I have to sacrifice something here. Bishop b7, knight takes g5, and then I really can't see a way out of this. All right. I think I've given up a lot of my advantage, but I'm far too low on time to be able to think too much about it. So I have to give up the g5 pawn, which is a real shame. I was hoping to hang on to that one for a little bit longer. Now, it looks like rook e5 could be a strong move. He hasn't played that, which is lucky. It gives me a little bit of a chance to get out of this and put my knight on the d3 square. But I'm extremely low on time, and that worries me. At least I have a very good knight. That's one thing keeping my position together. I'm going to try and run this pawn down the board. This terribly bad sniffle. I apologize for that. This position looks pretty much equal to me. Nothing special. Going to be very difficult. Oh, Dodgy. Oh, just popping a rook there right at the end. Dodgy really had me on the ropes there. Really had me on the ropes. Wow, that's an unfortunate slip there. Everything was going quite well, I have to say. All right, Quam up and running, so no time to think about it. But that was well, I have no idea how that endgame was going to go, but that wasn't the way I expected it to finish. That's for sure. All right, so we move on now, and we set ourselves up for a little Scandinavian battle. Any of you guys got a throat lozenge or something? I'm going to have to go hunting for one, I think. Yeah, Dodgy. Very unlucky. Played an excellent game, and then just this very unfortunate mouse slip, I guess we can say. Okay, Quam set himself up pretty nicely here. Just got a slight disadvantage, but nothing too major. Position looks pretty... slight advantage, I would say, for White on the basis that usually in the Queen d6 Scandinavian, Black tries to prevent the queen being forced back to d8 here. That's happened. In fact, Quam's had to waste to actually try a third time. Waste the move in getting the piece back there. So this is not an ideal situation, but still everything should be okay. Move like bishop b7, yeah, that's happened. Everything seems to be okay. But still, the real problem is what to do with the queen on d8. I'm not entirely sure how Quam's going to solve this problem. Imagine that queen it had found a nice home somewhere and things might be a little bit different. But in this exact position, just don't know what to do with that queen. Excuse me. Better get in the queue, guys. There's a chance you could win a month if I keel over during this broadcast. Bishop takes f4 is a good start, but the question remains, what to do with the queen on d8? Dodgy hypothesizing about whether or not that endgame was winning. My feeling was that it was a draw. Fork and Pin says that the computer's pointed it at a 0.64 advantage. In rook endgames, that can usually be either way. It can mean that it's winning or drawing. Engines are traditionally very bad at evaluating rook and pawn endgames. My feeling was a draw, but it definitely would have been interesting to see what would have happened. But in the end, wasn't to be. Now, knight c4, that was a good move. I like that one a lot. It forces me to do something I didn't really want to do, which is to play rook c1, and allows the move b5 as an option, which I also didn't want to allow. Oh, and he's played it too. I was kind of banking on him not playing it, but I was, yeah. So now things are not great. I'm gonna play c3, which feels a little bit dodgy to me. I'm not entirely sure that's a good move. I've had to sacrifice a pawn here, but a pawn is just a pawn. I shouldn't worry too much about that. Believe it or not, we're going to end up in another isolated pawn endgame. Isolated pawn position, which is quite strange. It's going to be our at least our third for the night. So, for example, not after that move. That is not the move that I expected. It might be completely fine, though, but it is not the move that I expected. Now, it doesn't look like I can take advantage of it, so I'm just going to play rook takes c4. I guess rook takes d3 is going to follow. But then there's knight c5 to consider. That's heading towards a draw. I don't much want to draw. Knight f6 check is almost but not quite winning, unfortunately. Rook c3, not quite working for me either. I think I'm going to have to go into this endgame. This endgame offers almost no winning chances after bishop takes e4. But I think that's the way we're going to have to go about this. Let's see what happens now. Poor Quam has played an excellent game but has no time. I really don't know how he or she's going to manage what follows. Unless she plays a bit quicker. Quam running desperately low on time now. I can't see this game lasting unless he starts playing a bit quicker here. Time slipping away now. Rook e3. The attack begins. Knight f6 check is threatened, but he's managed to stop that quite well. Still, it's well, maybe everything's okay actually. I thought that I was crashing through, but doesn't look like it anymore. Bishop takes e4 should be good enough. Quam with excellent chances all of a sudden. I thought this game was pretty much over, but it looks now like that's indeed not the case. Queen f6 looks like a good move here. Yep. I'm just a pawn down. Quam with, technically, I think, probably a winning position. It'll be interesting to see if whether I can slime my way out of this here. It's giving me a pawn. Probably didn't mean to do that. And now I'm getting close to almost cracking through here. Rook e7. Quam desperately low on time. I think I have a nice win here with queen takes g6, but I have enough time that I can probably just think about this. Yeah, I think that's winning. Queen takes g6 check. Oh, Quam is doing so well. Just got down on time now. Let's see how this finishes. Yeah, and that's a whole rook because there's no way now because of the pin. Whew. Thanks for the game, Quam. Played outstandingly well, just getting low on time, and I managed to slime my way through and steal back a month's membership for the company. Sounds kind of corporate when I say that, doesn't it? All right, Gone Sailing. I think actually Gone Sailing and I have played before, I believe. So playing an American Wing Gambit. Yeah, baby, Wing Gambit. You know, Gone Sailing, now that we're talking, I have to say that I am a big fan of the Wing Gambit. I think it is underrated. I very much appreciate it, and really the last thing I wanted to do was to end up in a situation, which we have now, where I have to somehow try and play with this extra pawn. I hate playing against the Wing Gambit, and now I've allowed knight b5, which is not what the doctor ordered. I feel that this is not going very well at all. Now, people should give more credit to the Wing Gambit, in my opinion. In fact, I just actually wrote an article. I annotated one game in my my monthly chess publishing column. I annotated it about the Wing Gambit. That's just going out very soon. Just to say that I have a bit more respect for it than is usually given credit. I wonder here after rook takes a6, I better be able to play queen e4 check. Otherwise, I would have just popped my queen. Bit early for queen sacrifices. I would have to say this is not the way that I'm supposed to play this position. Jeez, I mean, look at this. This is absolutely nothing wrong at all with the position of my opponent here. I'd say that if anything, I mean, how many pawns have I got? Only one pawn? Only one pawn. I mean, this is an outstanding position if you're white here. This is not looking particularly good. My king stuck in the middle of the board. No, this is not what the doctor ordered. Oh no, Tired Dad's had to reconnect, and that means he's going to lose his place in the queue. Tired Dad, I was looking forward to playing against you. It's a shame. No, I'm sorry about that. I have to wait till next month. Maybe Tired Dad, maybe I'll give you a friendly game after we finish. I think that's only fair. Back to the chess. Gone Sailing, definitely with a good position here. Definitely looking to have the better of things. I despise my position here. I'm trying to think whether there's any way that I can get out of this, but this is this is just horrendous. I'm really doubtful that I can survive this position much longer. I think that I can play bishop e6 here, try and hold on this way, but the only place that I can really think of to park my king is on e7, but even then I'm a little suspicious because if my bishop on d6, if something happens to it, then the dark squares are just going to completely open up. I pretty much just gifted a pawn there because I was pretty much desperate to try and close down the position. So I was sort of, in a way, I was a little relieved to see that pawn disappear. Now the question is whether or not I can do anything with my position. I think I'm in trouble town. At least I can play king e7 now, a move that I couldn't play before. That means that I can try and tuck my king in on f8, but clearly this opening has been a total success for white. And I'm in slime for the draw mode. c4, good move, good solid move. That's a bit of a pain. Forces me to play a move I didn't really want to play in h6. And now c5 is coming, and d5 is coming. So I better find a good move to sort this out. I'm going to play rook d8. Just so that I can play king f8 on the next move. Gone sailing, managing to keep the same amount of time as me. This is just very painful position for black at the moment. Excuse me. My main saving grace really revolves around the fact that the rook on f1 is yet to come into the game. Sorry, Tide Dad, about that, by the way. I'm sorry. I hope we get to play again. Soon. So like I was saying, the main saving grace that I have in this position is that the rook on f1 is yet to enter the game. So bearing that in mind, rook b1 would be my choice for white here. That would certainly make me sweat. I have a feeling that instead Gone Sailing is looking for more violent solutions, which is really my only chance here. That Gone Sailing gets a little overwhelmed by the prospects and gives me some chances here. c5 looks like a pretty reasonable move. I'm just going to play bishop c7. I really can't afford to swap that piece off. Now that's a pretty good move, but it does allow me to play queen d5. I'm slowly getting my pieces out. I think Gone Sailing has to be a little bit careful here. There's a real chance that he blows us if he's not careful, and he's getting into sort of the danger zone, and he's played rook d1. Oh, Gone Sailing had such an excellent position and has just popped a piece, moving into a pin, voluntarily moving into a pin, leaving the knight on e5, one defender short. So I snaked out of that one as well. Gee whiz. Lucky days. No, I think c5 was a little ambitious there. So let's start with d4. We're playing against Chiz rules. I guess Chiz stands for chess. And it looks like we are moving into Shigaran territory. Of course, the Shigaran being one of those openings that I know nothing about. But I have a feeling I play e3. I have a feeling this is the way the position goes. But I honestly don't really know what I'm supposed to do. This seems quite sensible, so I think I'll just play like this. But it's not, well, I'm not a d4 player in general, so this is not really my normal cup of tea, as it were, but surely I can't complain too much with a position like this. I mean, I've been gifted really the two bishops, so it's hard to really complain about this. On the other hand, my king's not exactly the happiest. I think that rook g1 was quite a stupid move, actually, because it just means that I can't castle anymore. I don't really know what I was thinking there. Well, I don't think I was thinking very much. I'm going to have to play something a bit silly now and play king f1. This is... Once again, I've really just, for no discernible reason at all, given away a large chunk of my advantage. I wish that I could explain it, but I can't. Man, this nose sniffle is a bit annoying. Ooh, I've just popped something there, actually. I wonder if chess rules will see it. I hope not. Ooh, that was close. Actually, chess rules could have played queen h3 check there. And if rook g2 played knight takes d4, and there was actually my e3 pawn was pinned to my bishop on d3, so that if I took back on d4, there was queen takes d3. That would have been most unpleasant. Fortunately for me, that hasn't happened, and I'm still in the game, albeit not at all with a good position. But at least I've managed to escape to the endgame, which, given where I was before, is definitely something of an achievement. Now, can I do anything about this? Can I maybe... I mean, what I really, really need to do is I need to get my bishops into the game. They're my trump cards in this position. So let's see whether there's some way that I can make them a force. Here, maybe I should start with... well, maybe I can play e4 here. Let's play e4. See if I can get them rolling. Maybe my position is not so bad. Ooh, but that is a good move. That's a very good move. That's an annoyingly good move. f4 now under attack. That's not great. I'm having to give up some squares. My pawn down. I still have some hopes, particularly those queenside pawns are black. They're not that secure. So I got some chances. I guess the real question is whether or not a knight can pop into f4 now, or whether or not he's thinking about knight to e5. In my opinion, knight e5 is the weaker move, but I guess we'll soon find out which one he's going to go for. He's gone for knight f4. I think that's probably the better move. I have this impressive pawn center, but I'm still a pawn behind, so I'm a little bit worried. The real question is whether or not I can do something about those knights that are a little awkward. I've got this move rook g4 that I can think about, particularly after that somewhat strange last move, g6, allowing rook g4. I mean, am I not just winning a piece now? It looks like he's just trapped his own knight. In which case this was a little bit strange. I might have managed to actually come out of this quite well, which is a little fortunate, but that seems to be the flavor of this evening. Well, Chess Rules 88, my second American, he might have just let me out of this now. Just looking at the interesting chat in Channel 3, I had no idea that the English called Nottingham knots. I guess that's kind of cute in its own way. All right, so just to clarify the situation here, I have, in fact, picked up a pawn. Picked up a piece, I apologize, which is definitely going to make my life a little bit easier. Now, the question is, can I hang on to that d5 pawn? I would desperately like to be able to hang on to it. It looks like I can. Looks like I should be able to hold it. I I guess we'll find out whether or not that's in fact possible. I'm going to play rook h4 here, try to see if I can take that long diagonal. So if knight takes d5, the idea is just to take and play bishop c3, and well, that's in fact what's happened, so I guess we can show that. Rook h5 played, which is what I expected, and now, wow, now he's got 3 pawns for the piece. So, 3 pawns for the piece, but he's about to drop one of them, so he's going to have 2 pawns for the piece. He has a chance, and he's taken it there to play rook d8, threatening rook d3 check. Poor tired dad's got to take off. The leg's not working out for him. See you later. It was good to see you again. Good to hear from you. Sorry we didn't get to play a game. Hope for next time. I really do. Right, so now it's still, well now actually after that move he's got, count them. He's got 4 pawns for the piece for a move. I'm just about to take one back. Real dangers for his king though. He's got to be extremely careful here. Move like bishop e5 is on the cards. Move like king f6 actually. Let me calculate this. King f6 might be extremely good. He's going to try and run away, but Chess Rules 88 in big trouble here. He's got 3 pawns on the queen side, which are always nice, but my pawn is about to get rolling as well. So he starts rolling. I start rolling. One of us is a little faster than the other, I believe. But let's check that out. Let's see what I've got here. I can go king into f5. He gives a check again, and I'm going to go bishop. Well, I don't want to play bishop f4 though. He's gonna keep going with the king here. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to go bishop f4. There's no time left on the clock. I'm going to throw in just a check. See where he goes to. He's gone back. Oh, he's gone back. That's a risky decision. Risky, but probably fine. I'm running really low on time, so I better start thinking properly here. He's done the big sacrifice. It might be okay. I'm not sure if it's okay, actually. I think he's going to be incredibly unlucky here. And I'm going to sneak home. I'm going to sneak home on the final move to checkmate. Unbelievable game. Chess Rules 88, so close. So close. Wow, that was a hard stopper, that one. What a match. Fantastic game. Chess Rules 88. Unbelievable. Just unable to calculate in the end, with both of us playing on fumes down there in the time control. An incredible game and a great performance. Worthy of a prize if it was up to me, but it's not. So, right. Aladdin flying high on the magic carpet from the States. That's 2400, definitely my strongest opponent. Just one game per Banter Blitz. I am pretty much obliged to play the Portuguese Gambit and the Scandinavian, so that I can mention just the one time on the air that I am in fact writing a book on it. Not that it is published, or not that you could buy it anyway, but it was the only book I've ever written on chess. So I'm quite proud of it, all things considered. But it is, I would say, my opening. However, today is not a very good example of the opening anyway, because this move for bishop e2, I've actually named it the wuss in my book. Wuss being Australian slang for, I don't know, coward or something like that, because it's not particularly exciting. We end up in these positions that are just pretty dull. A bit like this one here. Nothing too special about it. In fact, I think this endgame that we're going to get is going to be, so this endgame is going to be very, very, very boring. I don't think there's any way that I can actually spice it up either. No, I think it's just going to be... No, it's just going to be a pretty boring endgame. But it is definitely a position that is slightly better for my opponent. So I'm definitely on the wrong side of things, as it were. But still, it's something that I guess I'm reasonably confident that I can hold. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Maybe something like... I could have played something interesting like knight e7 there, but... Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. This is not going to be the most exciting of battles. It's going to be difficult for Aladdin to push this through for the win, but he's done the right thing if he wanted to do that, which is to keep pieces on. And he has done that. He's decided to keep the pieces on. So that's the right decision. And now I guess we're going to find out whether or not that decision will pay off. It's definitely sort of comfortably, I guess we'd say, slightly better. But just slightly better. B4 is probably the right approach, and now... Oh, Dave, you stupid man. I just realized if I play B5, he's going to play, of course, C5. Of course he is. And I totally misjudged that. And now I have a serious problem. Because B5 is coming. Oh, gee, what am I going to do? I have really messed this up, actually. What was I thinking? Well, this is not what the doctor ordered. I wonder what I'm gonna... I don't know what I can do, actually. He's going to play C5 pretty much no matter what. Dear, oh dear. Well. What to do? What to do? I guess I can... Oh, what a good move. I tried a little sneaky trick there, King E6, but he's very quickly played the best move, and now I'm in all sorts of trouble. I think I'm in serious, serious trouble here, and I've only got 33 seconds. Oh dear. This is extremely bad. Knight F5 is a bad move, but I had no time, so I can kind of forgive myself for playing that. Aladdin is he's absolutely smashing me now. In fact, it's almost forced mate if he plays his cards right here. Yes, indeed. Yep, that's the right move. The check, and now G4 will follow. And that's almost all she wrote. He's played G4. He's played the right move. I've had to quickly play Knight H4 now. Rook E7 check. He's played that. And now Rook takes F7, and I think it's all over, isn't it? What happens after Rook takes F7? I think I have to resign. He's having a bit of a think, which gives me some hope. It's just completely finished. I don't know what he's thinking about. I do have this sneaky check on the back rank, but he can very easily handle that, so I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking about here. This looks like it's just finished to me. Rook takes c8, and I think I almost have to just resign. Yes, unbelievable. Unbelievable. The clock now, also not on my side. This is completely finished. Yes. I'll play a couple more moves just in case. But this has been a pretty good performance, and this is going to be the one that I go down for. Oh, that's enough. I can't accept any more of this. Resign, Aladdin. A fine game, an excellent combination, this rook e7 check. You had to calculate that quite well because you can see I had all these back rank checks. I also had knight f3 check IDs. All of them just not quite working for me, but they all needed to be calculated very accurately because it could easily have turned a deserved point into a loss. So it was very well calculated in the end. And there's my loss. There's always at least one per Banter Blitz, and there we go, taken. Well done. Well done to Aladdin. Proved worthy of his name. J. Russell 2, starting off with d4, d5. I'm now switching backwards and forwards through my openings. Going to try and slow things down a little bit now because try and get myself back into the zone after that shellacking. It really was a nice game that Aladdin played, and it sort of serves me right for trying to trumpet my book on the air, and then the time that I play the opening I get smashed, so probably some justice there. And I believe if they're going to honor their promise, it's you'll pick up a month's membership, Aladdin, for that, which is pretty nice. Nice little gift, as well as, of course, the exceptional bonus of smashing a Grandmaster. That's always nice as well. All right, so here we are. Something not particularly exciting, I'm afraid to say. We've got the old Exchange Slav, known to be a bit of a snorefest from time to time, but we'll try and liven things up a little bit as we go through. The major problem in the Exchange Slav for black is that it's very difficult to just completely equalize the position. And the main reason is because of the light squared bishop, actually. You can see here J. Russell having to put the bishop all the way back on c8. I'm not sure that was the wisest decision, but definitely you can understand why he's gone for that decision. And the reason is just that it's extremely difficult to do something. Oh, that was a good move. Oh, I really should start paying a bit more attention. Yeah, it's really difficult to do something with the bishop because if you bring it outside the pawn chain, which is what my opponent did on move 7, this queen b3 can be just a little bit annoying. So this is the situation. Now, I've got this move knight b6 that I'm going to try and whip in. Although I believe that I may have just allowed bishop b4 check. But it should be okay. It almost looks like I've picked up a pawn here. I'm kind of tempted just to take that bishop on c8 and win a pawn, but it kind of feels like I should get more out of this position. You know, I have a very nice position. I think I'm just going to play... I don't know what I'm going to play. Maybe just bishop g3. No, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the pawn. I really should try to play a bit more sensibly now. Bishop takes f4, I completely missed that. Guys, this is what happens to me in Banter Blitz. Every time I lose one game, the next game, whatever the next game is, I've got it stuck in my head, this game. I can't get it out of my head, and I keep... I usually have terrible luck in the game just after I've lost a game as well. And I have a feeling that's what's going through my head at the moment. So I'm going to try and get myself back on track now because I'm going to be a little bit careful. This position looks completely fine for J. Russell now. I kind of messed that up. This knight takes c8 move was really terrible. Of course, bishop takes d6 first would have just solved the problem. Now I've weakened my pawn structure, and I've also weakened the d4 pawn in particular. I'm not overly worried at this stage because I still have a good bishop on d3, and it just means that I've lost my advantage basically, and I really shouldn't have let it go. It wasn't very professional. But on the other hand, J. Ross has got a bit of a problem here. The queen on c7 means that I'm going to be the first to take control of the c file, and that's definitely a good thing for me. It means I can play knight e5 now as well. Solve the problem with my knight. I'm not entirely sure what I should take that back with. I'm kind of tempted to take with the d pawn actually and try and roll things down, but I think probably the smart move is just to take with the f pawn here. Knight e4, yeah, I'm not sure if that is a good move or not because well, it might be fine, but I'm going to play rook e1. I guess the idea is to play f5 or something like this, but it's a bit ambitious perhaps, but let's find out. It might be okay. Still being a bit cheeky here, going for a sneaky knight f3 check. I'll try and get rid of that. The real problem is that this knight is now in a bit of trouble, and in fact I think this knight is just about to drop off the board here. It's going to go to e4, and then I can play f3. Oh, I can pick up a pawn in a bunch of different ways here. But I'll try and find the cleanest solution. I think I'm going to do something very boring here, guys. Just to forgive me, but I'm just going to take the h pawn. It's not going to be... Oh, I was going to say it's not going to be a very exciting finish after knight d2, because then I'd probably have to play bishop takes h7 and win a pawn that way. But fortunately, my opponent resigned, which means that we can move on to something a bit more exciting. Kaikers? I'm not entirely sure how you say that. Kaikers, not quite sure. All right, so I managed to get myself back into that game, although it wasn't entirely convincing. Been an interesting night. All wins bar one. I lost the game before last against Aladdin, who seems very excited about it because he seems to be saying it over and over again in the chat window, but deservedly so because it was a fine victory, I have to say. So that was a good win there. The rest of the games, the one against Dodgy was particularly close. There are a couple of close ones as well, but this one here not looking so good for Kai Kurse at the moment, playing a very unusual setup against my Accelerated Dragon. In general, I would say perhaps not the best way to play this position, but we'll soon find out whether or not I'm right about this. And I have been wrong before, even today. Two classy options here. One is knight e5, the other is knight g4. Both of them very tempting. I'm not even sure which to go for. Both these moves look exceptionally tempting. I can't make up my mind, so I'm just going to castle. This position must be. It really feels like it's extremely good for black at this stage. These bishops don't look very secure on e3 and d3 at all. But I could be wrong. Maybe after castles kingside on knight d7, things are okay. Instead, a different option gone for by my opponent, e5. But that pawn's going to be a little bit fragile now. It's going to be a bit hard. I think he's actually probably going to drop that pawn. You can see now I've managed to pick up that pawn. That's a bit of a blow, especially because it was a central pawn. Central pawns generally considered to be more valuable than outside pawns. You can kind of see why here, because if I can get in e7, e5, I'm going to have complete control over the center. So, for example, if castle's kingside here, I'll play knight takes d3 followed by e5, and that'll just be complete domination. In fact, that's almost exactly what we're going to get, it seems like. And now I'm just going to roll those bad boys down the board. And this is an extremely comfortable position. If I'm feeling particularly sadistic, I may even play f5 on the next move and get 3 pawns rolling as well. It's a little unnecessary though. But maybe not so bad. Bishop e3 played instead. Bishop e3 does allow d4. But a simpler move is just to play bishop f5. This position is essentially winning now. We'll see how things go. I'll try and play quite quickly, see if we can sneak in a few extra games as well as we go through. Kaiko's got a tough job here. That knight on b1 just out of the game. Bishop h6 is a good move, I have to say. A good chance to keep himself in the contest. Alright, so c5. Probably he's going to play bishop takes g7, I guess. He might put a knight on c4. Hasn't done. He's gone for b4. That's a little bit of a surprise to me. Because I can just play c4. I don't quite understand the point. Maybe he's going to play rook d1 or something? No, I don't know. I'm going to just keep rolling these pawns down the board. I see no reason to stop. Wow, look at these guys go. These pawns are on a roll. Situation getting critical now. If d2 happens, it's game over. Yeah, rook c8. RoboAdmin says the whole video of Banter Blitz is on YouTube. I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting. So all my commentary's on YouTube. It's a little bit scary in its own way. I believe I can play c2. That's probably going to be resignation now, I think, from Kai Kurtz. I think he might call it quits at this point. No, not quite. Not sure rook takes c2 is going to help very much. Yes. And I'll get a queen. And eventually Coco says, just run out of time. All right, Canes. Canes, where are you from? Antarctica? I find that somewhat hard to believe. Or maybe it's Cairns. Could be Cairns, actually. It could be like an A umlaut little thing happening there. If it is Antarctica, that is quite extraordinary. That's at least what it says on my computer. Maybe you guys can tell me what's going on there. Do we have the option to choose our own country? If we could have, I probably would have chosen Antarctica as well. All right, Cairns with a pretty impressive rating there, 2376. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. So far, so good. So we've just got a nice, calm C3 Sicilian. Nothing special about it. I've been playing this for a long time. Hopefully we can just get a nice, normal position. And hopefully I can... hopefully we can make this one a little bit more exciting. The last couple, I've played a little bit dryly. I'll try and spark things up somewhat here. It might look a bit strange that I've kept my pawn on d2, but don't be fooled. That baby's going to roll forward soon enough, just as soon as I knock out the c4 guy. You can see Cairns having a bit of a think here after I played b3 because, well, it's quite a critical moment. He decided to take, which was the natural reaction, but the problem, of course, in doing so is that it relinquishes the center. You can see now my pieces are all sort of flowing out. That was the risk that Cairns had to take. Now, I'm probably not going to rock forward with c4 afterwards because that's going to weaken my d4 points, and also the b4 square is going to be a little tender. There's no real reason for me to do that. I think I really just want to get my b1 knight into the game, put some pressure on the black king side. It's quite clear the black king's going to go king side. I've already got my bishop on c1, my bishop on c2, angling in that direction. That's a very interesting move. It's got a nice little threat to it here. A bishop takes f3, I believe, but I'm going to play knight d2 to try and prevent that. The idea is if bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, there's knight takes d4, and there's a pin on the c3 pawn to my bishop on c2, but I'm going to take back on f3 with the knight, so that's not an option. But the real point is that after playing knight d2, I can play knight e4, and then I'll have a bishop on c1, bishop on c2, and knight on e4, all pointing towards the black king side. So that's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. You can see Cairns taking a lot of time here, and I think the problem is just that the king side is going to be quite exposed. He's done it. He's castled. Oh, that's a risky decision. Let's see how that works out for him. So I've gone forward, naturally, 94. He's gone back. And now, a big moment. I've got to find a way to make something of this position. G4 is sort of the obvious try, but I'm not entirely convinced by it. I'm going to play something a bit strange. I'm going to play bishop d3. The idea is just because I don't like having my bishop on the c line where you've got the rook and the c3 pawn sort of pinned to it in the future. So I'm just going to try and get rid of that as a possibility, but I might have exposed myself a little bit in doing so. I can't quite make the attack work at this stage. I've got a slightly better position, but it's not quite enough. It's clear that if I want to make something of this position, I'm going to have to play g4 at some point, but it's not a move I really want to take lightly. I've got a little edge, I would say, not much. I'm going to do something a little bit cowardly. I'm going to just move my pieces around and wait till Cairns gets a little bit low on time, and then I'm going to whip forward and try to knock things out of the park. Yeah, Cairns, he's got to start moving quickly here. Well, G3 was just an absolutely horrible move. I have no idea why I played that. It just sort of slipped out of my hand, but it's a terrible move. Really terrible. And now I have an actual serious problem here. I don't know what I was thinking there. That was very strange indeed. Some sort of bizarre, I don't know. I just don't know. Okay. Well, it's been played. So be it. Oh, that's also a bad move. What is going on? That's two bad moves. That's that's a terrible move. Oh, guys, I don't know what's happening to me. I just played three terrible moves in a row. I already spoke about not playing c4 because it might give up the square on b4 and weaken d4, and that's exactly what I've done by playing c4. And now I've given myself a reasonably difficult job to try and keep this position together. Good news for me is that Cairns has got practically no time, so it should still be reasonably comfortable, but I definitely made my life a lot more difficult by going about things in this manner. And I honestly can't explain it. It's very odd indeed. Very odd play by me in general today, I would say. Anyway, not to worry. Still reasonably good chances. Although I've made a little bit of a hash of things, but still good chances. That A pawn's a bit weak. That's definitely going to help me out a bit. Put a lot of pressure on that pawn. That's a good move. Jeez. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh no, I'm going to drop a pawn there, am I? I'm going to have to try and... Oh, rook takes d4 comes on the cards. What is going on? I had such a great position and I've just put myself in a pin and everything's falling apart. I honestly don't know what's going on, guys. Still, I've got some good chances to try and win this one on time, but that's hardly convincing. Hardly what we would expect. Oh, I just dropped my rook. Oh my good God. Jeez, I'm so sorry, guys. This is not what I expected at all. I have to resign. This is a terrible performance, unlike any that I've done so far in any of the Banter Blitzes. I've never seen anything like this. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Wow. Well, I have to give credit to Cairns for the win, for playing well, for sticking with me with no time left and a lost position to stay with me. That was a exceptionally good fighting spirit by Cairns from wherever you're from. If it's Antarctica, I'll be incredibly impressed. But I have to say, I don't know what happened there. I think I'll have to get myself checked or something. That was an amazing sequence of errors. So well, let's let's try to forget about that, shall we, Dave? That was just something ridiculous. Congratulations, Cairns. You, as far as I'm aware, that means that you pick up a free month, which is always handy. So well done. Enjoy your 3 months membership at ICC, courtesy of your victory. I am a little stunned, I have to say. I just don't know what just happened. But show must go on. So we move now to the first Spaniard of the night. In fact, I don't think we've had anyone from the continent, have we? I think I'm trying to think who we had. Oh, we had an Estonian. Yeah, we did have an Estonian, but in general, it's been we had UK and the US. So our Spaniard playing the Grand Prix attack. It's given me some extra tempo. Usually, you've got to be a little bit careful if you're going to do that in the Grand Prix. That's going to make my life a little bit easier. You can see the attack not really getting going at this stage. Maybe in a couple of moves, but he's wasted a few tempi. It's just, like I said, just going to make his task just that little bit tougher. And I'm going to try and cut that bishop out of the game entirely now. By playing b3 temporary. Well, actually, no, it's a permanent pawn sacrifice, I guess. But you can see, having played that bishop on a2 is pretty much a dead piece. And after if I get the chance afterwards to put the knight on b4 as well, then that'll really be the end for that piece. Maybe I'll get the chance. But white is a long way from putting together anything too scary on the king side at this stage. Usually the idea for white in these positions is to play f5, sacrificing a pawn, but to create a lot of threats. And a lot of these threats usually revolve around the bishop on a2, causing some carnage along the diagonal a2 to g8, particularly on the f7 square. But that's obviously not going to happen here. Now, Drekov playing quite well. He's going to try and play b4 and give that bishop a new lease of life. I'm going to try and keep it out of the game for as long as I can conceivably do so. I really need to try and play some sort of breaking move at some point, some sort of d5 or f5 type thing. I'll see whether I can get one of these things happening. I like the idea of playing d5, actually. And surely e5 must be the counter here, and indeed that's the move played. I'd really like to get f6 going, but I don't know whether I can. So maybe I might just try and take the c file while I've got the chance. Gee, my head is still totally in the clouds, the wrong sort of clouds for that last game. I'm just sort of shell-shocked. I don't know what happened, just plundering my rook on a5 like that. It's very unlike me. I never do this sort of thing. So I guess I was just very impressed by the defense that Cairns put up. He really he resisted for long enough. And it's what they say in tennis, always force your opponent to make another shot. You never know. Well, he just kept forcing me to make more moves, even though the position was winning. And eventually I did go wrong. So I guess there's a lesson in that. Typical Grand Prix move there. You see these Grand Prix guys, they can't resist for too long. They've got to attack at some point. Having said that, it could be a very good move. I'm trying to target the d3 pawn in this position. Be interesting to see how he's going to defend that. He could put his bishop all the way back to b1, but that would give up the b3 square. So I'm not entirely sure what he's going to do. He's getting a bit low on time, actually, Drekov. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. We're back finally. Eddington has been waiting for a while. I should just mention it in the channel that we are finally back on. Sorry about that. Some technical hiccups with the Skype. Eddington from Canada, who has been waiting so patiently. Thank you very much for that, Eddington. But we're back, and I can perfectly understand why you'd want to hang around as well, because the way that I am playing tonight, you have excellent chances of success by hanging around. And it might be a chance here to pick up a month if you can win this one. Going to be tough. Exchange Spanish endgame, not the easiest to win with black. And at the moment, I think the focus, of course, should just be on equalizing, because the position looks just a fraction more comfortable for white, I would say, but nothing too major. Position looks pretty close to equal. If you want the month's membership, of course, you've got to really go for it, which doesn't seem particularly fair, does it? It seems like it's a little bit difficult to push for the win, but still, good chances here to get a result against the GM. And I have to say, so far, Eddington doing a fantastic job. Position looks perfectly respectable to me. Move like h6 here, followed by g5, would result in a position which is probably looking almost to be slightly better for black. I have to say, Eddington has played a very good game here. Very good indeed. All right. Now, let's see if I can round off tonight's somewhat unimpressive performance with something vaguely resembling a good one, although, well, I'm being forced to play knight g2 here. Things have not gone particularly well for me at all this evening. I'm going to try and grovel a little bit here, but I believe that I could be in some big, ooh, dear me, I think after g5 I'm in big trouble. This is just, and then g4 to follow. Yep, that's the way to play. This is just terrible. What am I? I could be it has just not been my night tonight, has it, guys? Just not been my night. I've been comprehensively outplayed at every turn. All right, so bishop e3, dropping material. Everything dropping material. Yeah, this is just disgusting. Just disgusting. Now I'm here trying to save the draw desperately. Eddington having a bit of a think, but there's just a pawn on offer here. I don't know what the hold up is, unless he's missed it, which would certainly make my day. Yeah. No. Whoa, Weaver. That's the move that I missed there. And that is quite a move if it's working, and I believe it probably is. Just an excellent move. Things just going from bad to worse for me today. As I have to desperately try and hold on here. But I'm probably, am I lost? I might not. Well, no, it's almost certainly lost here. This has just been one of those days that I would rather forget. Very interesting mistell in Channel 3 by Teacher. You quite understand what that's all about. Dear, oh dear. Well, well. This is just shocking. Can I try and somehow grovel my way out of this? Let's see. How many pawns am I down? 2 pawns down. I don't know. What on earth has happened in this game? Just comprehensively outplayed. Desperately trying to hold on here. But I'm 3 pawns down. There's really not much to gloat about. I tried desperately to create some swindle. It's been a day to forget, I tell you what, from my perspective. Whew, dear, oh dear. That's another good move. I don't know why I didn't see that one coming. Well, with my performance has gone my 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 charm, my commentary enthusiasm as well. I'm just so shell shocked by it all. I don't know what to say. So I'm sorry about that. I'll try and pull it together and at least give you some decent instruction as we finish off this performance. But it's just it's all a bit shocking. I just usually like this. It's a little bit concerning, but anyway, let's focus on the chess and see what we can talk about this game. 3 pawns behind, no chances. I feel a bit like, what's the name of the dwarf from Lord of the Rings? You know the dwarf when they embark on the quest. He says something great. He says like, small chance of success, almost certain death. What are we waiting for? I kind of feel a little bit, a little bit like that tonight. Just desperately trying to, play on, but it's. I completely missed this move actually. I don't know why. It's just I'll give Eddington the satisfaction of producing the victory. It's nice, I think. It's nice sometimes to checkmate all the way through, so we'll play this one out. But obviously no real hope at this point. Some sort of lag issues happening. That's a good move. This is very soon going to be the end now. Knight d3, check to follow. Knight d3, check and queens. That'll cause me to resign. Yeah, that's enough. That's another month. That's the third month, the third loss tonight. Unbelievable. Nas from America. I think the Americans have been really, they've been collecting tonight. I think more, I'm trying to remember the nationalities of the people who beat me, but definitely, there's definitely at least one American in there. So I can't claim anything. I had a big break there, and the break was also not enough to keep me in it. All right, so what's going on? What's going on here now? He's sacrificing pawns left, right, and center. I don't know what's going on. What sort of position is this? Can I take on c2 as well? Why is he giving me all these pawns for? I don't understand. I don't understand anything today. Nothing makes any sense to me. I just don't understand. Well, all these pawns have just disappeared way too quickly for me. So let's who beat me today? Eddington's beat me. Our Canadian friend. What was it? Cairns beat me. Cairns apparently came from Antarctica. So neither of those are American. I don't know where I was thinking about that from. And where did Aladdin come from? I can't remember. Aladdin also beating me, and I cannot remember where Aladdin came from now for the life of me. It's just escaped my memory temporarily. But the three nice victories, actually. I was particularly impressed by Cairns most of all for his fighting spirit. But I guess I would say that that last one by Eddington seems almost quite comprehensive. Eerily comprehensive, I have to say. And also this performance seems reasonably comprehensive, particularly at the moment. I'm not entirely happy with my position. I mean, you can see it seems I have some issues to solve, and this A pawn could be a bit damaging in the future. Sorry for the sniffles, but I can't use those as an excuse either. My queen's in a bit of trouble here, actually. I'm not entirely happy with my position, but I think my last move was a good one, d6. In general, this whole endgame with the move 7, knight takes c6, b takes c6, and 8 e5 is considered a sideline against the accelerated dragon, and it was never considered to be particularly good. But I never really knew why. It certainly couldn't be too bad, I thought, and the way that my opponent is playing it seems to suggest that it probably is better than its reputation. However, I think his move 16, rook fc1 was a mistake, allowing d6, and I've picked up a pawn. So, all things considered, I've come out of this reasonably well. But I have to say that, I mean, the opening, the way that Nas played seemed perfectly acceptable to me. The last move looks a tiny bit suspect, actually, but maybe it's also okay. It does allow me to take the pawn on e5, but I might consider... Oh no, let's just take the pawn off. I don't want to do nothing complicated today, my friends. Nothing more complicated, I tell you. It's been an interesting day. I think we can agree on that at least. I'm a little bit worried, actually. I don't want him to get his A pawn too far down the board. That concerns me somewhat, and that indeed is probably what's going to happen. I expect rook c7. What is he thinking about? What's going on? There it is, rook c7. I have to put my bishop somewhere a tiny bit stupid. But I can follow it up with rook d2. I think that's a reasonably strong move. Now, bishop f1 seems the natural follow-up. I don't know about g3. That looks a little bit suspect to me. In fact, that's That's going to be extremely suspect, I think. In fact, I believe Nuss might be in some serious trouble now. This looks to me like it's all, he's dropped the rook, and so that's going to be the ball game, unfortunately, Nuss. But I thought the opening was quite respectable. I've managed to pull one back, but 3 losses tonight, that by my standards, I mean, usually I drop 1, but the 3, that hurts. And now, this could be the last game. I'm not entirely sure, but I have a feeling it might be. Pats of power. Okay. Just got the call. This is it, the last one. Pats of power on board. Last game for tonight. Let's play at Budapest. It's been one of those nights. It's Budapest time. The life is always a little bit better with the Budapest. So let's see how we go to finish things off here. So far, so good. Nothing too special about this position. I might just play knight g4 again, just to see what's going on in the world. See whether I can make anything in this position. Shouldn't be anything too scary for Pats of power, but I might as well try it out. Probably a safe move here is just to play bishop e2, but we'll see what Pats of power decides. Yeah, bishop e2, nice and safe. Queen h4, I'm just going for it. It's been one of those things I've got to try and release a bit of tension, get this out of my system. Just make my opponent's life that little bit more difficult. But I think that's a good rejoinder, bishop g5. I don't think I can do anything to hurt him after that. Actually, I should be a little bit careful here, because my knight on g4 is just a little bit tender for a move or two. On the other hand, that bishop on g5 is a little bit tender. There was probably no justification for this outlandish play, but I just wanted to see what we could make happen here. Now, should I castle immediately? Probably I should castle immediately. At knight on g4, still a little bit uncomfortable. Makes me worried a bit. In fact, on my last move, I probably should have gone for a move like f4. That seemed a little bit more sensible to me than what I've done, which is a tiny bit risky. But so be it. I could play f4 here. All right, let's play f4 now. It's sort of natural now to follow up with h6, and probably that's what I'm going to end up doing. Position is just a little bit uncomfortable now. h6 is going to follow. And I'm not too surprised at Pats of power having a think here. A very complicated position. That pin on g4, but he's gone for bishop takes g4. I think this may have been a big error, though, because now the bishop on g5 really is undefended. And actually, I think this is pretty much going to be game over, because the queen's going to move, and then the queen's not going to move. And I'm going to take it. So that's it. That's the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. What to say? 3 wins against me tonight. One by Aladdin early on in the piece. One by Cans from Antarctica, who really held in until the end. And it's just skipped my mind. The final one was against Eddington, I believe, from Canada. Very comprehensive in the end. So 3 wins, 3 months membership. Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. You can tell that I sort of did up until the end, and then Unbelievable. Knocked me down. Stick with us. It's a big month this month for ICC, so stick with us for the live events. On the 13th of May, you'll be able to see Grandmaster Joel Benjamin in action. I've actually got his new book here. This is not planned. This is completely by coincidence. I've got his new book, Liquidation. It's quite a good read. Joel, if you're listening, you can thank me for that little plug. So join for that if you want to play against proper Grandmaster. And, of course, there'll be some live recaps from the upcoming 4th Grand Prix, FIDE Grand Prix also. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, everyone, for participating, for watching, and for your comments in Channel 3. As always, I've been Grandmaster David Smerdon, signing off for Banter Blitz.